Welcome back, everybody, to the Nexus Gaming Series. We are in round 6, our second to last match of the evening, and we have made our way to the top of the ladder. We've got near the top of the ladder. We've got NUES winning the last 2 matches to get to challenge the Division A champions, Dread Pirates. And I am joined by Ziltoid. How are you doing this evening?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a nice, relaxing day. I've had my cats hanging around. They've been glad I'm at home running this thing rather than being bored at work again another day. So it's been a pretty good Saturday for me. And of course, I want to thank everybody for coming out so far. We have $765 raised so far here for St. Jude. It's been an excellent charity event. Very, very successful. And we even had an anonymous donation while we were on break there. So thank you very much to Mr. Anonymous. Pretty much the most generous guy I know. And yeah, if you guys want to keep donating, we are trying to roll into that 1,000 mark here. We'll go ahead and bring up our donation goals. We're getting close to unlocking that backpack for the potential prizes here for the St. Jude Play Live initiative. And that would be a really nice mark to get to by the end of the day. But we will see how it goes. Donate if you guys can. And we'll take one last look at the schedule here as we are nearing the bottom of the ladder. And we're running a little bit ahead here. This match was scheduled to go at 5:30, but these teams have been rolling right through the matches and being super efficient. So now we got Dread Pirates versus the winner of round number 5, NUES. And winner of this match gets to go on to challenge the champions of the Heroic Division for Season 6, Celeb Gaming.
Should be an interesting matchup. I'm not entirely sure who's going to come out on top here. NUES looks really good. So they did pick up the 2-0 versus the B champions, and that's a pretty big feat in and of itself. But let's see if they can take on the Div A champions, as Dread Pirates are a whole nother beast.
Yeah, and as you go up the ladder, it gets more and more difficult, and that was kind of by design, so everybody gets a chance to play, and all of these champions kind of get themselves a nice little victory lap at the end of the season. It was part of the other design. The congratulations for winning and or just doing well in their respective playoffs, and kind of representing their division. A little bit of division pride, and so far it's been a very fun event to watch. A lot of surprises. Frank's Furters winning their way all the way into round 4 out of that round number 1. So they had a very impressive run here today. And just in general, a lot of good Heroes of the Storm for us to watch.
Yeah, they burned up all the way up the ladder until they hit NUES, and now we have NUES in the next challenge. So just a couple streaks going. Let's see if they can keep it going. And here we are into the draft. It's to start things off on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And it is going to be first pick on the side of NUES. Let's see what they're banning here.
Yeah, so right out the gate on Tomb of the Spider Queen, you start to think wave clear, and you start to think rotational ability are some of the strong points. If you can have some good engagement opportunities with the tank that you want to play, that can be helpful. And there is the Nova ban to start things off for Dread Pirates. They don't want to see any cheese here in game number 1.
Sure thing, and a new Brack, of course, being removed right off the bat. You'd almost look at those bans and say one team seems serious and the other one does not, but maybe Nova is definitely a good target ban here for one of the characters as well. And we see Zertold ban as well, just taking off some of those major power picks. Both of them got actually nerfed in the last patch, but I don't think it was enough substantially to take them out of the top of the meta yet.
Yeah, so we will see one more ban coming out. This one's going to be Diablo, another very strong tank in the current meta, leaving only Johanna. And there it is. NUES will scoop that right up, no problem.
Now, Johanna is kind of considered after her last rounds of buffs with a wave clear increase as well as the buff to hold your ground at level 1 to actually be stomping her way up to probably the top if she was in, even though she was already there. And so we're going to see a Gazlo first pick and a follow-up to that with Kael'thas. So very interesting draft that we're seeing coming out from Dread Pirates right off the bat.
Yeah, throwing in a little bit of cheese, but they do have the wave clear there for Sir Stiggles on that Kael'thas, so that's going to be a pretty strong tool for him to be able to utilize there. And of course, we're going to see the Anna on the other side, Night Knight's go-to healer, and Gul'dan for that wave clear answer.
Yeah, so pretty meta. Both teams picking up strong wave clear in the Kael'thas and the Gul'dan pick. It's kind of surprising to me that Jaina actually was ignored here on this rotation, as she's kind of considered the stronger out of them. But I guess she also got slightly talent adjusted, so maybe that's having somewhat of a factor into it. But yeah, we're gonna see a Cho'Gall band right off the bat on both sides.
All right, and yeah, so of course you have to answer that Cho ban with the Gall ban. You know, standard affair here in this matchup, and we'll have to see what Dread Pirates wants to go with here. They still need the tank and support and solo lane. Can be covered by Gazlo, so they're probably looking at more damage. But there's your front line, and Blaze can definitely be that solo lane if they want to put the Gazlo elsewhere.
Yeah, Blaze got pretty well buffed in the last patch as well. Though more people have been feeling on the tank side of things. So, but that's just going to make his frontline capabilities that much better. And Bunker got reduced. So now we're going to see a little bit of counter cheese with the Probius and the Thrall pickup. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to stick Probius in the off lane and have Thrall roam around in the 4-man or vice versa. You have kind of both options available to you, as there's not really a lot of gank potential on the side of Dread Pirates to really pressure the Probius if he does decide to go into the off lane.
All right, I'm getting some feedback that I am quite a bit louder than you on the mic, Ziltoid, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this down a bit. And you guys let me know if that's any better. I'm kind of a loud mouth, but probably still a volume issue.
No. You were louder than all the casters today so far whenever you were on stream.
Aha, so there we go. All right, well, Anduin going to be the final pickup here for Dread Pirates, so I should be interested to see exactly how they want to utilize that with that extra CC that he brings to the table. And just in general, going to be our first look at Anduin here for
Anduin is very. Yeah, we haven't seen him at all this season. He's quite good, I think, in the right hands. He's pretty technical, I think. He does have some good abilities, but positioning is very important. And you got it, and timing on his abilities are also really strong. So if it's played well, it can be very effective. If it's not played well, it can kind of fall behind a lot of the other meta healers at the moment.
All right, well, best of 3 series here for the Champions Charity Tournament. Please remember to donate if you guys have anything extra to spare. Every little bit helps here for a very good cause here today. And just great job so far. But we can always try to do a little bit more. I want to keep making sure to shout that out. But also, Dread Pirates here for our first look after their championship run. We saw them be very impressive in their championship match. What do you expect to see from them here today, Zoltoy?
A similar showing, but NUES didn't really get their chance to go to the championship match, so they got a little bit more to prove here. So I do think that all the B West top teams are actually quite strong this season. So it's going to be interesting how they actually match up against the top of Div A.
Alrighty. Well, let's get on into game number 1 here. On the left, we do have the Dread Pirates. We've got Slithering One on the Gazlo. Sir Stiggle is going to be playing the Kael'thas. Delurker going to be on Stitches. Batmary on the Blaze. And MF Princess is going to be on the Anduin.
And on the red side, looking to continue the streak, we have NUES with Chaotic Order on the Probius, Doom Elite on the Thrall, Xenaris playing the Gul'dan, Night Knight playing Ana, and Shadow Step playing the Johanna.
All right, well, both teams going to head on in to the mid right off the gates. And Probius is something that I don't get to cast a whole lot of, Ziltoid, so I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup right away. A little bit of a turret war there as Chaotic Order looking to try and dominate what turrets are allowed in that top one. And, yeah, there it is, the Tinker. You know, he wants it to be left alone, but I don't think it's going to work out for him.
Yeah, I honestly, I've seen some Gazlo play this season, but really not much a lot of Probius, so it'll be interesting to see which turret exactly Toymaker here wins out between the two of them, as they're both going to be placing their stuff all over the place and trying to get as much value out of their turrets as possible. Wave Clear is definitely in favor of the Probius, though, between the two of them, so and that's pretty powerful in this map, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah, it gives them that extra rotatability, gives them control over the turn-in as they rotate. But you can see Gazlo also placing down these turrets, trying to dismount some of the members of NUES and trying to disrupt that rotation on his own right.
Yeah, the placing of the Gazla turrets is actually quite intelligent to make sure that the rotations don't go as smoothly as possible. And Stitch is also doing his best to make sure he disrupts those as much as he can. But one thing about those turrets too as well is that Gul'dan can also heal off them. So it's also kind of like almost like placing a minion right in front of him so that he can get nice easy heals too as well.
Negative 40 with the comment. I don't know if NUES has enough wave clear. And, you know, you never really can have too much here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. But if anyone does, I would say it's NUES right here. And love the turret battle. That's just not something you usually get to see, is a Probius turret versus a Gazlo turret.
Yeah, they're definitely bringing out the fun for us today, as these are definitely drafts that we would not have normally seen in the regular season. And both of them kind of doing a bit of a gentleman's agreement to kind of play these little bit off-meta heroes at the same time to just kind of probably keep it somewhat even. Although, like I said, on this map in particular, I sort of give the advantage to Probrius, as there's not a lot of like camps for Gazlo to take, which is one of the strong things about Gazlo, is he can, you know, definitely solo take camps. And there's just not a whole lot for him to do on this map, whereas Probius is really good about controlling wave clear and rotation with his abilities. So I think there's a slight advantage if you're going to go 1-for-1 between the two of them, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, he gives you a lot of wave clear, but he also gives you almost a mage style of damage, where it's not incredibly reliable like an auto attack damage dealer, but he can deal quite a bit of damage if he can hit his abilities and his skill shots effectively, but also you know, good vision control with all the different things that he can place down on the field, and just in general, it gives you that little bit of extra wave clear than Gazlo would, like you had mentioned. So I agree. I think it's definitely the better pick if you're going to choose between the two here. But right now, it seems pretty even. We've got 15 turned in for the side of Dread Pirates. Both teams have just about enough to turn in here. And we're starting to see teams start to posture in that direction as they look for this first turn in.
Yeah, I think the point to make here is that Dread Pirates has definitely been kind of controlling rotations a bit better than NUES has been able to do, which is kind of surprising because Johanna is quite strong on denying rotations as well, given the fact she can live through everything, and most of the heroes here don't have the damage to really do anything to Johanna. But it's still looking extremely even in the early game here, just a slight turn-in advantage for Dread Pirates at the moment.
Yeah, DeLurker stepping up, going to deny Shadow Step that turn in the top. Meanwhile, the rotation continues. And no real big advantage gained on either side. No camps taken on either side just yet. No kills as we hit past the 4-minute mark here. And level 7 is now going to be picked up for both teams right around the same time as well.
Looks like Blaze has been able to chain in quite a few turn-ins in the bot lane versus the Thrall for the most part. So we'll see if that continues to be the thing. We do see Thrall trying to actually get his turn in here, but Blaze is denying it and not allowing it to go in. He does have 32 gems, so if Thrall can get that turn in to happen, they will be able to get the first Webweaver phase. But Blaze doing a pretty good job of making sure that's denied. Thrall better be careful because we might see a rotation down here on him, and that's exactly what we're going to see right now. With the stun and the hook coming out and the slow, making sure that he can't walk out. And that's 22 gems that they're going to lose right now, and that's the first pick, first blood of the day going to Dread Pirates. And it might be another kill here, but as Probius was trying to get the gems, but he got himself caught in the corner and ended up getting killed too as well. So that's a big loss actually in gems for the side of NUES, and Dread Pirates is going to get the first turn in.
Yeah, last second slip in there in the top to get a few more of those gems in, but it was not enough for the turn in for NUES. Dread Pirates will cap it and get the first Webweaver phase of the game here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And we do have Probius coming back, though, so they are going to have their wave clear tool to be able to try to clean this up. But it looks like Dread Pirates focusing on that priority lane in the top.
Yeah, the hook's going to come in onto Johanna, but Johanna's just going to trait and kind of walk into them. As again, there's not a whole lot of damage that can kill a full health Johanna here at the moment. But if she walks back out there again without her trait, that might be a completely different story, especially taking a full Webweaver in the face. So we have a 3-man defense versus the 4-man push with the Webweavers here, and a wonderful hook on the Chaotic Order, but doesn't manage to be able to get any types of root or follow up there that was going to get the kill. And we do have Gul'dan clearing out the mid lane and rotating in, and he drops some corruption here on the front line of Dread Pirates. So I don't think this is going to go down, but they got some pretty good work here done in the first phase.
Yeah, this is exactly what you'd like to see out of a first phase. It's going to get them a little bit of an XP advantage with being able to clear all the waves more easily and get them to level 10 just a little bit quicker so they can really put the emphasis on goaltending here, not allowing NUES to get that first turn in, and then being able to slowly secure their second. They already have the gems for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because of those big, massive gen loss, they do have still a very hefty lead in that area. Dread Pirates does over NUES. And they do have the opportunity to turn this in. Now, 10s is for each side, but it looks like NUES is going to back off, and Stitches is going to go for 36 in, but Probius is there to deny that. We got another 13 on Bat Mary, so we're going to have to get both of those members to turn in if they're going to get this next Webweaver phase. And he does manage to get 36 in. The Blinding Light did not actually get the stall out on it, and now we got Slithering one turning in after a pretty good zoning attempt by Dread Pirates.
And we do see camp picked up here for NUES as both teams hit level 10. It looks like we're going to have Phoenix along with the Robo Gabo, the Putrid Bile, and boy, I got all the hard ones, Ziltoid. We got Holy Word Salvation for Anduin, but Blaze still holding his heroic here.
Yeah, and on NUS sometimes we have Sundering, we have Reign of Destruction, actually. We have Nano Boost and Blessed Shield, and Proprius is taking Pylon Overcharge.
Meanwhile, I got another donation coming in, $20 from Bickle. Thank you very much, my friend. Proud of this community for coming together for such a great cause for the kids. And yes, for the kids indeed. Going to put us up to $785. Great job so far today, guys. And let's keep this train rolling. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 here before we close the day out. But meanwhile, let's get back into the game. We've got Webweavers coming out here for Dread Pirates. Their second Webweaver of the game as they approach level 13. Slowly but surely here, big lockdown going down onto Johanna. The Blessed Shield trying to respond there, but not quite enough to keep her alive. And here come the Dread Pirates.
Yeah, they were able to push down the mid lane while Gul'dan was in the top lane trying to take out that Webweaver up there. And he managed to take it, but not all the way down, so they might actually end up losing both the mid and the top lane. Reign of Destruction coming down to try to finish up the mid, so we are not going to lose the mid lane, but it looks like we are going to lose the top lane. And Thrall's in another big trouble, and that's another kill for the side of Dread Pirates after picking off Johanna in the mid lane. So 4-0 so far in this game. Levels are still pretty even. A little bit left on this Webweaver to see if they can get a little bit done onto this keep front wall. It is in the bot lane, however, which is the hardest lane to end in, so it's really just for a little bit extra experience. And we do have the 13s picked up by Dread Pirates. And that's going to be a defense.
Yeah, nice friendly hook onto Slithering one there. The Lurker going to get him out of trouble. And level 13 advantage for Dread Pirates. That should really enable them to have the advantage here in goaltending. We'll have to see if NUES can slip in a turn-in anywhere here. They definitely have enough gems still for that first turn-in, but they're looking for it. But it's going to be rough without 16. They do go in. They get the combo damage, but the nice pull there from Anduin going to be able to save Sir Stiggles. Meanwhile, triple gravity lapse in response. Big CC coming out, and still no 13 for NUES. They're just crawling to it right now with that passive XP. They're going to have to back up to their fort for the moment.
Yeah, I'd say had they not landed that gravity lapse, that would have been a dead kill Thusser for certain.
All right, well, while we're taking a quick break for the DC here, let's go ahead and take a look at our schedule. We got Dread Pirates in this round here, round number 6. And we got just one more round after this. Winner between this match and NUES will go on to face Celeb Gaming. And that's looking to be a little earlier than 7 o'clock, but we'll see when this matchup does finish. But either way, we've got at least a couple more hours here for our charity event. Thank you again to everyone for coming out and supporting us. We'll take one quick look while these teams are ready to get started once again. Actually, it looks like I'm on the unpause, so I will go ahead and do that right now. All right, there we go. And we'll go on back into the game, but those are our goals. We're getting closer and closer to unlocking that sweet St. Jude Play Live backpack at the 1,000 mark. But meanwhile, we got Gazlo back. He's doing a bit of a DC hokey pokey at the moment in the chat, but yeah, nice blocking, nice zoning there. You pointed out there with that zoom in there, Ziltoid. Kind of keeping them at bay here. Uh-oh.
Absolutely. And we got another DC coming in from the side of Dead Pirates.
I'm telling you, they're doing the hokey pokey, but, you know, hey, it is a charity event, which means we got these cool off-screens to throw it to. So yeah, a reminder to everyone that every $10 donated is going to earn them a raffle ticket for potential rewards up here that we've seen going out. As soon as we get those in from St. Jude Play Live, we will hold a big raffle. I'm planning on streaming it live, doing the whole thing, and get those out to everyone that from all the stuff we've earned from all this cool donations that people have been throwing out.
Yeah, it's cool to see that we were able to, you know, almost raise $800 today. Very committed and good community we got here at NGS.
Yeah, and a big thank you to all of the teams that are coming in and playing too. You know, without you guys accepting the invites and coming in, spending a good chunk of your Saturday, especially if you were playing for Frank's Furters today, spending a good chunk of your Saturday playing HOTS. You know, it's a lot of fun and it's for a good cause, but at the end of the day, you guys are doing good work here and definitely contributing your time, and we appreciate that from all the people that have been running the event. Also, big shout out to Mongoose and Murda, who have kind of been helping me out, kind of being our board members on duty today, on standby. And then, of course, all the casters. We've had lots of casters out here today, casting and having a great time. So everybody kind of coming together for this big collaborative event, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of.
All right, we're ready to start.
All right.
Good timing, too, because I was about to plug something else.
We're getting close. All right. No, not that one. No, almost. There we go. All right.
Great two-man stun coming out from the Blaze, plus a combustion follow-up, but he doesn't manage to land on anybody but the Johanna. Johanna does be able to trade it out. She is taking a boatload of damage, actually, on the front line, but that is exactly what she's supposed to do. And it is actually going to be NUES that actually comes out on top, and it was the corruption damage that ends up picking off the Kelthos in the end there, and he goes down, and finally we get the first turning coming up from NUES.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Ziltoid, but I think that might have been the first ever kill in NGS history that resulted from memes of destruction.
Yeah, I mean, it did get a pretty significant buff this last round. You don't longer have to channel it. It is a 1.5 cast time, and it just goes right into it. So now, actually, a pretty competitive pick, I think, on the the screen, especially if you're intending to do a lot of sieging. And on this map, there is always going to be lots of sieging that's going to be happening. Gazlo in a very bad position, though, as he is a bot. It looks like he is going to be going down. Poor Gazlo bot doing poor Gazlo bot things, and the top one of those things that generally Gazlo bots do is die. So, well,
you know, he believed and he was going in. He thought he could end the war himself up here in the top lane, but, you know, unfortunately it didn't work out as well for him as it did for Jon Snow when he was charging into the Battle of the Bastards there.
So, looks interesting here, but they did go for a pick on Chaotic Order down here, but he Probrius is his way out of it, and they do manage to take the top fort down, so that's pretty good value for the side of NUES. They might have a way back into this game. Hopefully, though, that we'll see the Slithering one come back in here, because Gazlobot's just not going to do a whole lot for his team, you know, unless he gets back into the game here sometime soon.
Well, I mean, really, you got the Division A champions here. So you got, you know, almost a bit of a handicap in response. I don't know. We'll see how big of a effect it has. You would think that Gazlobot, not the ideal. You know, me personally, I prefer a Johanna or a Muradin bot.
Yeah, Muradin bot's a friggin' assassin. He'll kill you. You better watch out. Especially now, since they always take Burning Rage. It's actually a good talent now.
There you go. All right. Well, we do have Webweavers coming out now for the side of NUES. They're going to be able to easily clean up this camp in the mid. They've got way more wave clear than required to get that all cleaned up. And now they're going to be marching in with their Web Weaver in the top. Meanwhile, Dread Pirates cleaning out the top one, prioritizing that top lane. And once again, like I said, slithering one, kind of doing that connection hokey pokey.
So, given the low mobility heroes on the side of NUS, they opt to go for the mid push instead of trying to go for that top push where they can get flanked. And Probius is in the bot lane trying to clear that out. Pretty good defense, though, in the mid lane here by Dread Pirates. They managed to actually take it all out. And Probius now needs to watch himself because he's in a bit of a bind if he gets caught out. But, of course, it is Probius. He is a very sneaky probe, and he sneaks himself away and doesn't manage to get caught there by any Dread Pirates. Gazlo is still bot.
The jukes are real. Chaotic Order makes it out alive. Level 16 now online for NUES. And we'll have to see what they can do with this. But look out, Shadow Step kind of being collapsed upon here by the members of Dread Pirates.
So that was all of the turn-ins available for the side of NUES. And they did manage to get a top and a bot fort. But they didn't really manage to push much further up there. So it's going to take a little while for them to actually get in on their next turn-in. And Dread Pirates is sitting on 91 gems. So that's a pretty significant gem lead at the moment that they do have. So they're going to see if they can rotate and maybe grab a top turn-in before NUS can respond. And it looks like they might be able to at least sneak in 16 gems here because I don't think there's going to be anyone that's going to block it off. We do get the blind, but it is too late to deny it. So that is a 16 gems turned in from the side of Dread Pirates. And they're just going to have to keep trying to continue to do that to see if they can get the pressure back onto the map in their favor, as they do still have the experience lead. So 2 turn-ins and a kill on the side of NUES, and Dread Pirates has still done a pretty fantastic job of making sure they picked up all the lanes out.
Yeah, and you know what I noticed of the strategy here coming out right now from Dread Pirates? This is a strategy I'm very familiar with from solo play. It seems like they're babysitting the Gazlo bot so that it's impossible for Gazlo to get stuck out alone. It kind of just seems like they're just following him around the map.
Yeah, if he's going to go into a stupid lane, they're going to go in the stupid lane, and then it's not such a stupid lane anymore.
Well, there you go. And I mean, we do that all the time. I'll be sitting there with Mongoose, and we notice somebody gets caught out a lot and are not willing to follow the rest of the team. We'll just be like, okay, we'll just follow Gazlo then. Meanwhile, we do have Siege here into the mid. Gazlo actually coming into the mid as well to push along with him. Gazlo knows that this can be a keep. He's coming in trying to get something happening. Stun going out. And the huge hook coming out on the Gul'dan. It's going to be a massive pick here for Dread Pirates as they look to secure the first keep of the game here in the mid lane.
Yeah, fishing hook value. Always got to be aware of it at any, especially when your minions are out of the way. That's free reign for him to get out there, and Gul'dan is the target, and so is Ana. And Ana just barely manages to dodge it, just by the skin of her teeth. That went in. This could have been a keep for sure, and I think it still might be, especially with the Gul'dan pickoff. They don't have the wave clear necessary to clear this out, so it will be a keep. And another hook coming out onto Shadow Step, but the Batmary does miss the stun. So it looks like he'll live himself. He also had his trait still up, I think, at that moment, so it wasn't really too dire of a situation. So bot keep is gone. Probius needs to be a little bit careful. He's using his minions to guard against the fishing hook, but it's going to come out. Now he's going to get maybe hooked again. Very close, very possible, but did not quite happen. Gul'dan is back up, so now we're going to see the retreat call coming in from Dread Pirates, and they're just going to move on back.
Was that a friendly hook onto the Gazlo? I really like this strategy coming out from Dread Pirates. I'm enjoying watching it very much.
Yeah, I mean, you got to shore up the weaknesses of your team, and sometimes that means a Gazlo bot.
There you go. All right, well, another turn-in coming in for Dread Pirates. It seems to be working. Level 20 now available here with that bot keep down. If they get another keep here, it's going to be a really, really rough place for NUES to have to try to defend from, as that bottom Web Weaver going to be marching pretty far into the bot lane, so we'll be threatening core soon here.
There's another hook on to Chaotic Order, but he is able to get out before any significant amount of damage comes in. Now, a Rain of Destruction comes in, does an absolute massive amount of damage to Dread Pirates, and followed up there with Shadow Step kind of going in, but now he's been on an island with the combustion coming in, he's going to get picked off, and this is Gazlo for Johanna, and that is going to be the end of that aggression at the moment. But it looks like Zenaris here is trying to get a kill onto Stitches, but instead he's going to be the one that goes down, And the bottom Web Weavers is going to be pushing up onto the core. Now, right now, Jet Pirates really wants to try to end this game right now, as that was their entire gem load, and they do have a 20 advantage still with a 2-for-1. I'd really like to see them push in, but like you said, they probably are just going to go for this keep here and then retreat. And so that might not be the end of the game here. Sorry about my camera work. It's kind of getting all over the place here at the moment.
Hey, you're doing just fine. I'm seeing all the action. But Gazlo, Slithering One, trying to reconnect. The Chosen One, trying to return here. On Tomb of the Spider Queen, rather. And as they go for the third and a final keep of the game here on the top, they're going to put a little bit of pressure. Now, this, of course, is the boss lane. So the more pressure that Dread Pirates can put on this, the better situation they're going to be in later if they're able to secure this boss.
This map gets very hard once you have 2 keeps down because you have to keep babysitting those lanes. They do have pretty impressive wave clear on the side of NUES, so they still have a win condition here. If they can manage to win a fight and get that boss in the top lane, especially this late into the game, as long as their lanes are properly pushed up, they can definitely actually take a victory here. So they are not by any means out, and this is why there's a lot of focus on this boss lane, because right now it is the only standing win condition for any team on the map. Although we do have NUS quite close to getting to their turn-in amount, but the bot lane is really starting to stack up. Someone's going to have to retreat to go clear that out.
Yeah, here comes a member of Dread Pirates. They secure the camp in mid, and now have grouped once again as 5 around this Gazlo bot, trying to carry this bot to victory here. Meanwhile, rotation to mid, out goes NUES, but in comes the charge from Bat Mary. Good response, though, and Chaotic Order ends up being the first one to fall. Out comes the Memes of Destruction. Blaze is going to end up falling to that, and the damage from Doom Elite there. 2 more members getting so low, but a last second heal comes in, going to save Anduin, but Stitch is not going to be so lucky. And just like
but
that,
even right now, the core is going down. It's at 46, 43%.
Oh, no.
In fact, if they don't get a retreat back here in time, this game is going to be over. And we're going to have yet another minion win on this map again for the second series in a row. Here we are. I did mention that those things needed to be cleaned out. Now, that fight was very good. We saw the hook come in right after a raw jet propulsion onto Probius, and that secured the kill with a combustion landing on 5 members. But the amount of damage that came out from that rain of destruction was insane. We saw the amount that was coming back in with the interrupt onto Anduin as well, made sure that they didn't get the heals up. So, I mean, if the minions didn't end that fight, that was probably a boss turn-in and actually a game for NUES, so very, very close. But yeah, all they needed to do is stall them out in the center there, and that was the end of the game. Very close. Awesome match to watch.
Yeah, they had me fooled for sure, but Dread Pirates baiting the members of NUES into the fight that they wanted to be able to take. Didn't even have to win the fight outright, just had to slow up NUES enough. And the Winions, like you said, 2 games in a row. When will these teams learn?
Yeah, I mean, you got to manage your waves. I mean, you got 2 keeps down. It's always a threat to that the catapults are going to be on the core, and the thing is, Dread Pirates didn't have a turn-in, so there was no reason that NUES didn't have the option to spend some time using Gul'dan and or Probius to go back there and push up their waves for them. And if Dread Pirates went in for the boss, they should have been able to see that anyways, and been able to rotate in time to contest it, as there wasn't an extremely fast boss clear on the side of Dread Pirates anyways. So just they got a little bit wires crossed on the shot calling and thought they had more time than they did, and that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. So, they got in that position in the first place because Dread Pirates was playing a pretty solid early and mid game.
All right, well, we're going to get ready to go into game number 2 here. Let's get in contact with our captains, see where they are at, as looks like lobby is being created here for Sir Stiggles and the Dread Pirates. So what adjustments would you like to see out of NUES here? I know it's kind of a weird comp strategy overall that both teams were coming out with, but are any specific changes in play style or draft you'd like to see here?
I think they played a pretty solid game anyways, despite kind of the Probius pick and the Gazlo pick. So it's just, I think they need to clean up their comms and their shot calling more than anything else. As with appropriate amount of comms, that shouldn't have been a problem there. They should have been able to clean that up and call a calmer game. So they just need to calm down and just try to play a good game. If they can get those types of calls and things like that in place, they should be able to take it to a team like Dread Pirates.
All right, well, looks like we got both teams ready to go in lobby. We are going to be going to Volskaya Foundry for game number 2. And as we get these guys actually here.
Yeah, Volskaya is a very team fighting map. And both teams do like the team fight. So I really like to see them both draft some good, point control team fight capabilities. It's also really good about rotations and getting those camp priorities. So, as long as everyone's timings and again communication coordination on the map is very good, this should be a close fight between both teams. Generally this map ends by the third protector, but not always, and quite often it can go even longer than that. So we'll see how it kind of works out here. It kind of depends on how strong of a lead and kind of the compositions that we get from each side. And we're going to find out what those are coming into the match here now.
All right, so we are going into draft for game number 2. Red Pirates up 1-0 here. So Volskaya Foundry, very rotation-heavy map. Camps, of course, massively important here, especially these item camps, both the turrets and the heal camps. So we'll have to see how these teams want to prioritize that. But right away, some big bans coming out. Once again, we're going to see a Nubarak and Zarya thrown out here early.
Yeah, I think a little less Mimi opening, at least. We'll see how it kind of goes out from here on out. We do see the Nubarak again banned and the Zarya banned on the other side. So we're going to see what else is prioritized by the side of NUES here, as they don't have a Zarya ban. Maya could be a good option. Abathur, I guess, is pretty good if you know a team's good at playing Abathur on this map and knows how to stall out the game to get the value they need out of it. It's a good ban overall. Ana being removed, strong healer. Also good into double support, which Dread Pirates is known for.
Yeah, we're going to see Johanna being the first pick here once again for the side of NUES. No surprise there. They love Johanna, and the good wave clear and rotation control on this map can be very strong.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. In fact, I really think Anduin in particular is one of those healers that is actually really good complementing into double support comps, because he does a decent amount of damage himself and can kind of complements really well. So I'm interested to see if that is the path that we actually get. But instead, we're going to get Leoric and Kael'thas to open. Leoric, of course, is fantastic in the mid-late game and has fantastic wave clear and can kind of manage those lanes for you while you're trying to get other things done on the map. And Kael'thas is really good for zone control. And then Hanzo, always a strong pick in the right hands.
Yeah, especially on this map, there's a lot of terrain to bounce stuff off of. A lot of good angles that you can easily get on these points to be able to get that simple geometry stacked up nice and early if that's the build you want. And look at the Probius ban here. Dread Pirates saying no thank you to that this time around. They don't want to deal with that zone control here on Volskaya Foundry and that extra wave clear.
Yeah, I was impressed by the Probrius play. He was actually quite effective, and on this map in particular, a good Probrius can be absolutely devastating to play against. So it seems kind of like a meme bound, but honestly, I would almost make the same choice just based off what I saw in that last match. And Diablo being the last ban out here, just making sure we don't have that oppressive frontliner that Diablo really can be. And on this map in particular, he gets a soul stack. He just becomes absolutely impossible to remove from any of the objectives. Cho'Gall.
There is the meme, ladies and gentlemen. The meme itself, Cho'Gall, coming out here for the Dread Pirates. And still a lot of counters available, too, for NUES to be able to pick up here. You got to expect this is a Malthael coming up. They could still go into the Tychus if they want to go something a little bit more tanky and frontline rather than the Malthael. And still the Greymane available for the Cursed Bullet.
I honestly would like them not to overcommit too much to it. I think a Malthael is perfectly fine. Greymane works out with their composition, so I think both those choices were fine. But Cho'Gall as well, there's other ways to play around him. You don't have to worry about just burning him. If you're killing the rest of his team, he's also less effective. If you're macroing better than they are, he's also less effective. So there are ways that you can approach this outside of just finding ways to kill Cho'Gall. But I think they kind of cover both of those things with the Greymane and Malthael pickup, as they both can kill other targets as well as Cho'Gall himself. So it is going to be an Ariel pickup. Kind of not the most common healer that I see paired with Cho'Gall these days, but still a significantly strong pick. And it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I'm going to give it to NUES just because I think they've got a really good comp for this map. But, the memes might just be the strength they need.
Yeah, Dread Pirates definitely having some fun with this comp, giving us an interesting game 2 here for sure. And Ariel, kind of the old classic healer with Cho'Gall. You're right, not as common now. There are a lot of different options that go well with the Cho'Gall, but there's no better battery in the game for Ariel than the Cho'Gall. So I really like that pickup, and it's definitely a throwback.
Yeah, I think on this map in particular, I actually prefer the Alexstrasza just because the Dragon gets so much value. But
right,
at least Ariel can peel herself, though.
Well, there you go. And plus the AoE healing and sustained healing is not bad either on this map when you have these long objectives, but we'll see how it works against the because they do have a decent counter with that last rites in the Aegis, but we'll see how it works out for them here. Alright, so let's get on into game number 2 on Volskaya Foundry. On the left, we've got Dread Pirates. We're going to have Dalgal 1. There we go. Dalgal 1 on the Cho'Gall. Sir Stiggle is going to be on the Kael'thas. MF Prince is going to be on the Ariel. And Bat Mary going to be playing that Leoric.
And on the red side, we have NUES, we have Zinaris playing the Hanzo, Chaotic Order on the Greymane, Shadow Step on the Johanna yet again. We have Doom Elite playing the Malthael, and Night Knight on the Tyrande. I mean, also something to keep in mind, they do have Hunter's Mark on Tyrande, which could also be pretty devastating with all of the other types of burst damage they have on the side of NUES. So I really expect this to be kind of a challenging game for Cho'Gall, especially through the first 10 or 13 levels before his power spikes really start to come into play.
Yeah, Cho'Gall has always been a very hard scaling hero. And if you can get any kind of advantage, any kind of trade value at all early in the game with Cho'Gall, come out anywhere near even when you get to those level 10s, you are doing something very, very well with that Cho'Gall comp. But you mentioned that there's the shred, and look at that arrow. Zarya sneaking it in onto the wall, and definitely got the kill there. If he had simple geometry, would have had a lot of stacks out of that one shot.
Absolutely. I mean, Zinaris kind of flexing a little bit. He is a DPS player from Abusement Park, which is a heroic division team, so not all that big of a surprise that he's able to land those shots from downtown.
Yeah, and of course, worth noting, all substitutions, all those available today. It's all in good fun for charity for the kids, so we weren't worried. We just wanted to make sure teams could get 5 players together, playing these matches, put on a good show for us, and they're definitely doing that here today.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't give them a significant advantage in game 1, so we'll see how this goes along. But Volskaya is being played quite well by NUES so far. They're doing a really good job of making sure they're getting every wave of soak. The pick-off on Cho'Gall counts for 2 kills, remember, right off the bat. So that does a significant big boost. And we are going to get this fight over this objective here in the middle, or not. We might not get a fight at all. We'll see. If there's a 5-man rotation here from NUES, I expect Dread Pirates to just let them have the support camp, as I don't think that they'll win that fight.
Yeah, and I think NUES knows that too. They're going to go directly in after that biotic emitter, and they're going to get it here. So we're going to have 1 turret on each side. And wait a minute. Okay, Night Knight picked that up at the last second. He almost lost that turret to Cho'Gall as he charged in there.
Yeah, nice spot by Cho'Gall to be like, hey, they forgot it. I'm gonna go get that thing. But keep in mind that picking up the items also grants a small amount of experience. So you definitely don't want to be just leaving those lying around for the enemy team to pick up when they want. So the ratio to 7 is heavily in favor of NUES at the moment, but if they do allow this pickoff to go up on Shadow Step, that could change the thing, or change it around a little bit.
Yeah, Shadow Step able to make it out, get the tap onto the well, and meanwhile, this is going to be the slow poke damage game that NUES wants to play. They have a lot of good poke, a lot of good sustained damage, but look at the return coming in. Bombs being spread everywhere here. The biotic emitter does go down. The turret's kind of shooting back and forth at each other. Another huge Q coming in from Sir Stiggles. But it looks like for now, Dread Pirate's going to be forced off the point. But still, health bar is very low here for NUES.
Yeah, absolutely. The Kael'thas was definitely getting a ton of value there, but the level 7 talent tier does come in, so it looks like Dread Pirates is just going to take that cue as, hey, well, we already got half channel. We can just take some time back off and get a little bit of macro down and see if we can catch back up. But that is also going to open up the window for NUES to be able to come in here and grab their own turret. So they're going to have another turret coming into this next objective, or into this objective fight, and that's actually going to be a small advantage as they don't have one on the side of Dread Pirates at the moment. So as long as we don't see a bunch of bomb spread, I think NUES could probably take this objective, but it's going to be pretty close. There's a lot of AoE damage, and Doom Lead already getting super low. It passes the bomb onto the Chaotic Order, who is also getting really low, and a little bit of repeat from last time, but a lot of return damage coming out. We're going to see all the health bars get very low on the side of Dread Pirates, and they do manage to get the pick off onto Leoric, and they do manage to kill off the Kael'thas, plus the Cho'Gall and the Ariel. That is a 5-man team wipe for the side of NUES, and that's how you want to win those fights. That's the thing about Hanzo, right?
Blue team has taken control of a protector.
Yeah, feeling a little bit more comfortable in the shot calls and kind of how the fight's going. It got a little bit hairy there. They were spreading a lot of bombs at the initiation of the second part of that fight. And it got really scary for the side, but they were able to dodge around just long enough to be able to get the trades to go in their favor. But this Protector's going to do absolutely nothing. It just gets completely demolished by the Kael'thas and Cho'Gall damage, and that's going to be it. I mean, they might as well just drop this thing and go do something else on the map because it is absolutely done. At 1% health, it's not going to do a damn thing at this point.
Strange. I did not expect the protector to be destroyed like that.
Yeah, Malthael was doing a very good job of making sure that he was grabbing a lot of the extra soak during that phase, and that's always a really good rotation. And when you got a double soaker like Malthael, you can get that big advantage. But on the side of NUES, we have Curse Bullet, which is not a surprise with the Cho'Gall. Dragon's Arrow, because, you know, it's better than Meme Strike. We've got Starfall, Last Rites, and Blessed Shield to round it all those being very standard talents in the current meta. Yeah, good thing about those heroics is they are on relatively short cooldown timers, so they don't have to wait too much longer before it. And, you know, they had an opportunity to maybe get a pick off there. They just didn't have quite as many tools as they needed. But Malthael is now getting rotated here on, and we're getting a full invade coming out from the side of Dread Pirates. They're trying to get as much value out of the lack of heroics as possible, but it looks like it's going to be Leoric feeding a Last Rite stack to Malthael here, and it's going to be a hard thing for them to actually disengage from this now. But yeah, good trade for NUES, and they managed to secure their objective yet again. They get another turret, and they still continue to have this massive lead marching into the next objective. They will have 13s well before Dread Pirates is able to get it in hand.
Thank you very much, everybody, for letting me know I was muted on the stream there for a little bit, but trying to keep my cough macro going so you guys don't have to hear that. My mic's been loud enough throughout the day without assaulting your ears, but thank you very much. I am back now. But we do have level 13 coming in very soon here for NUES, and I don't think that Dread Pirates are going to be able to have this level 13 talent here in time for this next objective. But one of the staples of Volskaya Foundry, one of the things I wish they would change the most about this map is how much downtime there is between these the end of these Triglov Protector timings and the next objectives. It's just massive.
Yeah, it doesn't put as much pressure on the teams to do a whole lot outside of wave clear and kind of these in-between areas between the next each objective. That's for certain. But we'll see. Maybe Blizzard will hear you.
Maybe, but either way, we do have level 13 in now for NUES, and meanwhile, the pick-off in the mid lane, Malthael is going to go down. So nice pick there by the Cho'Gall roving style that they've got going here. And now they are down 13, but they've got a min advantage as they look to engage here.
Yeah, so Dread Pirates, kind of playing off a bit of what they noticed in the first game, which was a little bit of lack of communication between the rest of the team in the off lane, and no one kind of calling the missing on the map, which leads to Malthael getting picked off while he's trying to double soak in the mid and bottom lane. And that is kind of those little windows, those start to stack up one more time, and that can definitely lead to the end of the advantage here. And actually, to point out too as well, they did do a lot of damage on the top lane, but they didn't actually channel any of the objective. And so it is actually Dread Pirates, despite not having 13, that gets the first 50%. And that's I think a pretty big steal for the side of Dread Pirates.
Indeed, but as all 5 members get up here and this level 13 still not here, Dread Pirates wisely backing off. Meanwhile, NUES making a good rotation. They're going to get themselves a second heal support camp here, so going to have a lot of extra toys to play with here as they look to try to get this control point B. And Dread Pirates kind of debating whether they wanted to go across the map and try and get another turret, because of course Ariel also wanted a toy, but it looks like they're not going to have time. They're going to come up, but we're going to get this fight here now with level 13 on both sides.
Yeah, so item advantage is definitely in NUS's favor with 2 healing camps and a turret. 1 turret on the side of Dread Pirates. And they're going to go right in here, but Cho'Gall gets stunned out with a big Blessed Shield plus, but we got a nice Entomb on the back end, and that actually gets the Tyrande killed with the Stasis coming on the Slithering one, but it's going to be 2 for 1 trade, and the fact that Batmary also goes down is going to be a 3, and now 4 for 1 with Kel'Thas getting picked off, 5 for 1, yet another team wipe. It just seems like every single objective fight turns into a 1 for 5 or a 2 for 5 trade out, and that is not the way to win the objectives on this map.
No, now a 3-level lead here just for a moment for NUES, and we're going to see them marching across the map, having full reign, doing whatever they want with this Triglov Protector. First fort falls, second fort falls, and now they're going to start to head towards that bottom one. They're going to be able to clear out, at the very least, get the healing well down here, which is kind of really the prize they are looking for here from the second Triglov Protector.
Yeah, absolutely. So they just, it's generally not likely that you're going to end off of this objective. Even if you've got a pretty massive lead like NUS does have, the most you're going to get is top keep. So why not just come down here, prep up this lane, get all the stuff out of the way, help secure your victory in the next round, and then you can end the game there. And that seems to be the plan, and they seem to be executing it quite well at this point.
Yeah, NUES being very patient, playing this game very smart, which I really like to see from them. But it's worth noting, Dread Pirates, their comp tends to be scaling. I feel like if level 20 comes in, Batmary gets that buried alive talent, things can really shift in a hurry here in the late game. And really, a lot of Heroes of the Storm nowadays comes down to those late game team fights above all else.
It absolutely does, but we do have a 2.5 level lead on the side of NUES, which makes it quite difficult to rely on your talent tier advantages if you can't, or your scaling if you can't get there.
That's true. So we'll have to see if they can get here. They have a lot of time, though. They've got a long objective phase here, or non-objective phase here, before we get to that control point C down in bot. Level 16 should surely be in for Dread Pirates by then, and they should get at least 1 team fight on that even talent tier here before level 20s are in for NUES. later on in the game. Meanwhile, a little bit of an engagement there. A couple heroics, or a couple abilities thrown out along with that Phoenix. Didn't find anything there onto NUES. They'll back off as that Phoenix comes out.
But again, both pretty short timers. But yeah, NUS is going to use their advantage to secure even more camps on the map. They will be giving up the turret camp here in the bottom left-hand corner, although it looks like they are going to try to make that rotation. But with it being picked up now, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to actually catch anybody out. So they're still going to look for the engagement, though. And that is a Dragon's Arrow onto the two frontliners. We're going to see if they can pick off the Cho'Gall, and he's in a very bad spot. There's one vulnerability down. We'll see if the second one gets used, but it's not in time, and it looks like that is another last right stack for the Malthael. That's a 2-for-0. Very good engagement from NUS, realizing they still had an advantage on rotation. They could still catch them out and executing quite well, and they've been doing that all game. This composition is tailor-made for beating comps like Cho'Gall, where you really want to just blow up one target, and this comp is just designed to do exactly that.
Yeah, massive synergy between the first 33% of Cho'Gall's health coming out of that cursed bullet, and then potentially the last 33% of his health coming out from the last right. But Bat Mary is going to go down as the members of NUES charge in and deal a ton of damage to this keep, softening it up here and getting closer and closer to that level 20. So really opening themselves up a win condition here if they're able to get the Triglav Protector from Control Point C.
Yeah, the more that bottom lane becomes weak, the bigger chance that this Protector actually ends the game. So pretty scary position for Dread Pirates to be in. And the bigger thing is here, we have a 3-level lead, an actual 3-level lead here on the side of NUES with those pickoffs and kills in the bot lane. And they're about to hit 20s before Dread Pirates can even hit level 17. And that is going to give them a huge advantage on this next upcoming fight. And it's Batmary that's the current target here. The stun chain does miss, but I don't know if he's got the ability to walk out because he had already used his Ghost Walk in the middle of the lane to try to get away, and he didn't manage to do so. So that's yet another pickoff for the side of NUES, and that's just pretty much going to secure this objective for NUES.
Yeah, meanwhile, we will see with Leoric down, a little bit of a lean towards this bottom lane from NUES. They're going to poke at it a little bit. They're not going to commit super hard to it, but get some decent damage. And like I said, the weaker this gets, the more likely we could see the end of the game potentially here from a one more Triglav Protector for NUES.
So the defense comes in, so the keep's still not gone yet. And Batmary is back. That is the trick of Leoric. He does have the ability to come back much faster than other heroes does. So those, despite the experience given over, which doesn't matter anymore now that 20 has already been gathered, you do get the silence onto the Johanna, but she just traits out and is able to kind of walk in here. And now we're in a big, terrible spot for the side of Dread Pirates, as it is Batmary that does go down yet again, and Cho'Gall barely escaping with his life. 72% channeled on the core. They did drop the bionic emitter there to kind of secure that, and they're just going to see if they can use this kill here on Batmary to see if they can actually siege this down. So slow siege coming in, see if they can pick it off, escort in the catapults in. They even dropped a turret there to get some damage done.
Yeah, meanwhile, we do see the channel just 5 away, but Chaotic Order actually going to end up going down here. So nice engagement here from the Dread Pirates, and they're still continuing to move forward. Shadow Step taking some damage, and meanwhile Hanzo gets caught out in the Entomb. Nice whip there from MF Princes as well. So very, very nicely done. And now, Triglav Protector here for NUES. But what can they do with it, Ziltoid?
Unfortunately, taking those 2 deaths means that they don't have a win condition any longer. Pushing up into this bottom lane will secure them the keep almost certainly, but they'll probably trade out the rest of the health of this Protector in the process. But it looks like they might commit. We'll see. I mean, that thing is dead. But yeah, another pickoff coming up on Toronto, who is out split on the map, and that's going to be another staggered death for the side of Dread Pirates. And given the fact that the next this won't end, the next objective will be 20 versus 20. And here we are. There's the late game scaling that you were talking about, and it might just be enough to turn this game around for the side of Dread Pirates, who have been decisively losing this match all the way up until pretty much now.
Yeah, still way, way behind in the structures is Dread Pirates, but you mentioned it. Level 20 here, Cho'Gall, good scaling in general, and now this Protector pretty much rendered useless beyond getting that first keep of the game down bot, so now they're just kind of using it for wave clear, waiting for it to run out, and then they're going to have a very, very long time before we see the next potential objective here in mid.
Yeah, kind of a scary situation. It's what happens when you overextend. And again, Dread Pirates somewhat punishing the communication on the side of NUES. And we'll see if they can actually push this down here. They're probably going to get that the well and maybe even the fort here. We'll see how aggressive they get onto it, because at level 20 is now, this becomes very difficult to kill anyone here on the side of Dread Pirates.
All 5 members are now up for NUES. They've got all their heroics available. And here's Dread Pirates stepping in aggressively onto their fortification camp. Right away, we are going to see the Entomb on the backside, not finding anybody. But Tyrande is going to end up falling, trading out for Leoric on the other side. Shadow Step gets low. Johanna gets whipped into the wall and killed. Meanwhile, Cho'Gall at almost no health. And there's the Hanzo arrow just in time. Look out at the bottom. Ario goes down as Malthael able to chase him down. And just like that, it is a 2-for-4 exchange. And Sir Stiggles will fall as well. And just like that, it's an ace.
Yeah, that's game. With the win condition open up in the bottom lane and everybody else dead, I would assume NUS could go for the kill here. Oh, right. Level 20 does bring one little thing. Cho'Gall has a half respawn timer, 50% decrease,
so
which means it becomes very difficult to siege up on that with the Cho'Gall up, especially with 2 dead. So no, that won't be the end of the game, despite winning decisively a really good team fight in the mid lane.
What a way to counter that anti-Cho'Gall strategy. We're going to see that coming out here from Dread Pirates. It doesn't even really matter if he's dead at this point, if he just comes right back, kind of like a Diablo respawn, but not having to suffer the loss of your souls.
Unfortunately, if he does die yet again on the objective fight, and we get another 5-man team wipe on it, then, I mean, it won't matter how fast he comes back.
Yeah, the death timers will continue to get longer and longer, and even though it's half of an extremely long timer, still going to be enough time to take the core down, especially as they scale higher and higher. But it's just kind of a common theme here as we get closer to the end of Game 2, is NUES kind of not being able to close this out. Dread Pirates kind of hanging around, and they've softened up that mid lane a little bit, and this game's not over yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Just both teams rotating around as 5, making sure no one gets picked off, as any pickoffs in the end game can be extremely devastating to either team. They are spreading out a little bit to see if they can push up the bottom lane, just keep that pressure going on the bottom lane for the side of Dread Pirates, something they have to constantly think about, especially something that won the first game between these two teams, was a pushed out lane that was ignored for too long. So perhaps trying to see if they can do the same thing on the other side. But here we are, the first channel coming through for NUES. They're going to get the first percentage for kind of the first time outside of the bottom lane. And we'll see if the fight actually comes in between these two.
All right, so there it is. They come on in. Oh, big, buried alive. Able to find chaotic order on the backside. Meanwhile, bombs are being spread everywhere. Leoric and Tyrande, the first 2 to fall. Starfall coming down. We have the Aegis coming on the other side. Molten Core to follow it up. Cho'Gall lives through all of that somehow. But all the other members are down, and Slithering One will fall, melting like he was in the Carbot Animations video from Malthael, just taking him out here. And that is another 5-man wipe, and the core call time finally here, or Ziltoid?
Yeah, I mean, I think with, like I said before, a 5-man team wipe with a Protector coming up on top of it. This is a 22-minute Protector with nothing in the bottom lane to take its health down. Cho'Gall will be back up, but Kael'thas will not. And I just don't think that they have what it takes to be able to actually manage to win this. Malthael is also kind of a pain in the butt to deal with in the end game, especially for Cho'Gall. So we'll probably see this be game number 2, and we will be going into game number 3, I believe.
Here we go. NUES able to get the win here on Volskaya Foundry as Cho'Gall trying to see if he can beat this down, but the Triglav Protector, just too much damage. The core will fall, and game number 2 belongs to NUES.
Well, good thing. It's been very back and forth here. The first game was close. Kind of won on a technicality with getting those minions through in the bottom lane and taking it out. In this game, it just kept every single 5-man team fight started off pretty well for the side of Dread Pirates. That Silence Tomb at the end there, I thought was going to end it because they landed it right onto Greymane and that was enough to be able to stop the Cursed Bullet from coming out. But unfortunately, he was able to peel out just enough and not die in that situation, and then be able to get the Cursed Bullet onto the Cho'Gall, which brought his health so low, and that actually ended up turning the fight around, especially with Ariel getting picked off by Hanzo on the bottom part of the map. Just kind of secured the victory for them, but still very strong showing, and Dread Pirates did not want to go down in that match, and they made a case for themselves, but NUS just having the tools they needed to deal with that Cho'Gall strat.
Yeah, 28-12 on the kill counter. Tons of hero damage coming out from Hanzo. A bit of a ringer here for NUES, so bringing them up a little bit and helping them out here with the Dread Pirates in the next division up. And overall, played very well. Only a couple of rough moments there. A little bit of an overextension in bottom, kind of stretched the game out a little bit. But either way, NUES performing very well there on Volskaya Foundry. Gonna take us to a game 3, and let's see if we can get in contact with our captains here and see exactly where we're going.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out Batmary in that last matchup. His Leoric play was very good and actually caused a lot of problems for the side of NUES. In fact, if they didn't have him playing so well in that Leoric, I think that game would have been over a little bit sooner.
For sure. All right. Well, want to shout out once again the donations that you guys have been doing. We are at $785 so far for the charity stream. Very successful day so far here in the Nexus. We're in round 6 out of 7. Winner of this match is going to go on to face the Heroic Division champions, Celeb Gaming. And just to make things a little bit more interesting, Met has told me that they are going to be taking requests along with donations. So if anybody donates and has any requests for them to play any particular heroes, switch any particular roles, they are open to do that. And, it makes sense. They're one of the best teams. They are, from this season, crowned the champions. They're the best team we have here. So, little confidence, of course, kind of goes along with that. They're the next division up, and, they'll do a little showboating for the fans here in the charity event.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like we do have our lobby available, and it looks like we're going to be going to Towers of Doom here for game number 3. And never before was there a map invented for Heroes of the Storm that's better for a game 3 in a series for this matchup. Alright, Ziltoid, so what do you like specifically for Towers of Doom in terms of drafting strategy and heroes that you think are strong here?
Abathur is a pretty big threat on this map. It did get banned out in the last game, but on this map in particular, he can be very strong and deadly. Sylvanas is good on this map in particular, as she can really help push out that bottom lane. Really hard. It makes it nice and aggressive. Hanzo was a good pick in the last game, and this is another map that he can be quite effective on, given lots of places to bounce his arrows and, lots of places to get value out of his vision. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a few of those heroes as well. Diablo also, if he makes it through the bans, is pretty good on this map. Dealer's choice. There's lots of options in Towers of Doom. It's pretty flexible.
All right, well, let's get on into game number 3 of the series. By the way, I want to shout out Bickle for another donation here, $40 taking us to 825 on the day. I don't know where that alert is. I bet it's coming through any time now. I'm going to hit the button, so it'll probably come up twice, but we want to make sure that shouts out for Bickle here. Told myself I'd give $1 per blank in that for that game. I actually don't know what it is. It marked it out. I guess the teams knew somehow. Big thanks to Jay, or maybe kills. It must have been kills for that game, so it was around 40. So there you go.
There you go. So Abba being banned out, as I did suspect. Same thing with the Nubarak and Zeratul. All very powerful picks on most maps, but on this map in particular, the Abathur is definitely a good target ban. It is something that higher level teams will play, so seeing that removed is a good idea. Another hero I've been seeing somewhat resurgent on some teams is actually Zarya can be pretty effective here, given how often that you guys are stuck fighting and the fact that she can double so pretty well on this map. 4-man sieges in the bot lane is kind of where Zarya tends to thrive. So it'll be interesting to see if we see her. And double support is something that Dread Pirates do play.
All right, well, I'm still working on these alerts. I want to make sure that these are popping up for you guys. But Sylvanas and Malthael are going to be the responses here, as we've seen just some amazing play recently on Sylvanas. She's gotten a lot stronger since her rework, and players have really started to discover how powerful some of her different builds are.
Absolutely. And actually, when you're asking me about what's powerful on this map, and specifically Malthael, which we did see in the last game, is an absolute monster on this map, as he is fantastic at both rotating into team fights and double soaking. Because of that pale horse, it's a strong talent to take at level 1, and on this map, it just becomes devastatingly hard to deal with. There's very few offlaners that can actually match Malthael in those rotations. We will see the Ana and Hanzo picked up. Like I said, Hanzo very strong on this map, just as much as he was on the last map. And Ana, very top tier support.
One final donation coming in as well. We got two right in a row here. Have a donation coming in from Sadat with a $10 request to put Sadat on Karazim every game. That's a good way to buy yourself into being able to play one specific hero every game.
Absolutely.
It's all for the kids. Why not? Meanwhile, Cho'Gall banned out by NUES. They don't want to see those shenanigans again, but especially in a world where they don't have Malthael available. I actually really like that ban.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it was taken the last game, and you had the tools. You had Greymane, you had Malthael. And even Hanzo, for that matter, can get a lot of free damage into a Cho'Gall without him being able to trade it out very well. But the fact that Malthael was taken in the first one, too, is just kind of like, well, we know they play it. We might as well remove it. And Jaina was also taken off the board. And now we have Manduin coming back into the rotation. We didn't see him in the last match because obviously they were looking to pair something with Cho'Gall specifically. And he's going to pick it right back up now that it's available yet again. And he's going to pair that with Varian. Delurker, if you don't know, is actually quite proficient at Taunt Varian and has won many a regular season game and playoff match with this pick. In fact, it was so nasty that it was repeatedly banned throughout the playoffs in Division A. So it's interesting to see that it's let through, and it might be a little scary to allow him to pick up that hero.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lunara coming out on the other side. Of course, Dahaka, great pick here. Good global ability, but we've seen a lot of talk in the NGS community, especially from some of the higher-ups. You mentioned it earlier to me, Ziltoid, that Lunara kind of slowly coming back into the meta, and a lot of people think that she's going to be really strong. Meanwhile, Li Ming coming out on the other side.
I mean, Li Ming...
Oh no. Did we lose Ziltoid sound? Uh-oh. Yeah, so Li Ming, a great combo with the Varian, especially that frontline taunt Varian. If you can have somebody standing still, it can be a very powerful tool to be able to lock them down and ensure those Li Ming combos hit and try to spawn that reset, especially when you got a Malthael last rights to try and give you that reset off the back end of that damage. Nope. Cannot hear Ziltoid just yet. Oh, I heard you a little bit.
How about now?
Yeah, there you are. All right, we got him back just in time.
Who?
All right. Yes, can you hear me? Stiltoid! We can hear you. Uh-oh. All right, he's going to try and reset that call. We'll see if we can get him back in here. We go into game number 3, Dread Pirates. Kind of doing that burst comp, trying to get some Leeming resets going. A team after my own heart.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Awesome.
All right.
Yes.
All right, we are back. Just in time for game number 3 as we go on into Towers of Doom. On the left, we have the Dread Pirates. We're going to have Sir Stiggles playing the Leeming. Batmary going to be playing that Malthael. MF Princess going to be on the Anduin. Slithering one going to be on the... Or no, it's Slithering one on the Sylvanas. And Delurker going to be playing the Varian. Who did I miss there? I feel like I missed somebody.
I'm not sure. But on the red side, we've got NUES looking to see if they can take out the Division A Championship Dread Pirates with Zenaris on the Lunara, Doom Elite on the Dahaka, Shadow Step on the Johanna, Chaotic Order on Hanzo, and Night Knight on Ana.
All right, first Globe hitting Shadow Step. That's a good sign for the side of Dread Pirates. Didn't even need the taunts to set things up here to get started. Meanwhile, we will see quick rotation to the top lane here for Dahaka. Malthael in response. And of course, Malthael pretty famous on this map here, Ziltoid, for his ability to double soak.
Yeah, I was, on that, or talking about that earlier. I believe this is Malthael's pretty much best map, just given the fact that how much focus is put onto bottom lane. It's kind of hard to make those big rotations to pick off the Malthael in rotation. And if you can't really pressure him, he's just going to sit there and rotate between mid and top. And he can do that pretty much from the level 1, which almost no other offlaners kind of have that ability to do so.
We do see Shadow Step going in with the Condemn, going to clear out the wave nicely here. And you mentioned it, great wave clear potential on that Malthael. We see him already a little bit ahead in the rotations. In fact, we're going to see NUES rotating up the Lunara to try and help out a little bit, while both teams going to go ahead and rotate onto their early siege camps.
Yeah, absolutely. Camps basically being traded out between the two. And yeah, basically it's 3 and 4, but we do see them almost bait them in. They kind of waited on grabbing that support on getting the camp. And then Zenaris came in from the back end, but it looks like he's going to take a bit of damage for his troubles, while the rest of his team is kind of peeling away. So hopefully he can get out of there and doesn't get blown up, but they don't have taunt up yet, so not too much of a risk until level 4. When it's level 4, you don't want to be making that move.
All right, looks like we had a little bit of lag coming in for NUES. So they're going to go ahead and make sure everything's going away. All right, looks like everybody's good, and we're going to get right back into it.
The root did land onto Zine, and Batmary had rotated in there. He could have actually been in a bit of trouble, but no one dies for their trouble. And we're just kind of back to the rotation here. Both sides seeing if they can kind of push in their camps. And again, because of the Malthael, the Dread Pirates is just going to be able to 4-man this bot lane for the most part. And Dahaka will be able to somewhat match his rotation as it gets a little later into the game. But as it currently stands, he's not going to be able to really keep up. The taunt going out into Shadow Step drops his trait to survive, but he took an absolute monster amount of damage.
Yeah, and that's on Johanna. Just imagine a world, Ziltoid, where somebody gets hit with a taunt that's not the main tank with all the tankiness.
Precisely why this combination of heroes can be so devastating is the fact that you've got a lot of initial burst damage that come out from Sylvanas. The taunt goes down onto the target, and then the follow-up damage from Li Ming will kill pretty much anyone, including Shadow Step. Like, he definitely has to be careful, even on his own. Now, if they catch him before he can drop his trait, he could also be blown up. And like you said, if that's anybody else, even scarier prospect.
Yeah, triple altar phase spawning here, and first and fifth phases here on these altars will be the triples. But we do see immediately Dahaka coming down after capping his in the top. Malthael quickly rotating down as well with that on a pale horse, and Li Ming the first to fall here.
Yeah, absolutely. The dig-in from Dahaka was very strong, and we actually get even more aggression coming in here. Lunarda does get picked off by Sylvana. She manages to pick off the Hanzo 2 as well, and that's going to be a 3-for-1, 3-for-2 trade, because the Malthael was extremely low going into that fight. But Sylvana's had enough, and was going to go in and take out the Dahaka as well, and that's going to be a 4-for-2, and that is the power of Sylvanas right then and there.
Well, yeah, and Sylvanas also having the trait, so feeling like she was alright to go ahead and dive on into the tower, being able to shut it down and finish off the Dahaka. You're not even safe under your own towers anymore, Ziltoid.
Yeah, that's the major threat of Sylvanas, and at 40 stacks in 4 minutes, that's pretty good. We generally want about 10 stacks a minute, so Sylvanas definitely wants to be trying to keep up with that if he wants Dagger Build to be devastating in the mid and late game. And right now he's on track to kind of keep up with that as it currently stands. An invade coming here from Dread Pirates. They're going to get pushed right in on here. They do need to watch out as Dahaka could probably rotate in here much sooner, and he does. There is the dig, and MF Princess in a bit of trouble with Zenaris right on the backline, putting as much pressure as he can onto both him and Sir Stiggles. And the kill might actually come through, but the heal does come out just in time. And Dread Pirates does not manage to succeed on the invade, and they walk away with very low health bars as Lunara just puts in a lot of pressure over long extended fights.
Yeah, level 8 to level 7 right now. Neither team anywhere near level 10, but Bat Mary taking a decent amount of harass there from Z. And we are going to see a bit of a back and forth here in the bot lane as well as these altars activating. We'll have to see if these teams are more interested in splitting these or if either team's going to get a little bit greedy and try and see if they can get both.
Well, we do have a bit of an experience lead for the side of Dread Pirates, and I think that has to do with all the digs coming in from Dahaka means that the double soaking advantage tends to be in favor of Malthael, but a big heal reduction coming out from Ana is going to put a ton of pressure onto Dread Pirates, and they're in full retreat mode here, although the taunt does come out onto Shadow Step, and he takes an absolute massive amount of damage. If he didn't get that shield up, he was dead from that combo coming in. And with that pressure applied, it looks like Dread Pirates has regained the confidence, and they're going to come back in here. Doom Elite getting a ton of pressure. He pops his essence, though, and he gets that healing right back into it. And a Tundra coming onto Malthael. Malthael's now on the backline trying to get as much healing as he can, but the healing reduction coming up from Ana secures the kill onto Malthael, and that is going to be another kill for the side of NUES. And I think that's going to be the end of their aggression here. And the slight shot advantage going in favor of NUES.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and take that 4-point lead and also starting to even up the XP just a little bit, but Dahaka able to quickly rotate up to the top, and we will see the camp being grabbed there. We'll have to see if Malthael can get there in time, but it looks like he's going to be delayed just a little bit by the wave as they're trying to soak these big waves. A lot of waves building up for Dread Pirates. It's going to give them a nice little XP lead as they get level 10.
Yeah, so despite the win in the bottom lane, the experience is still about a level in difference between NUES and Dread Pirates. And again, I think the macro from Malthael just opens up a lot of opportunities for them to kind of get ahead in that experience area. But NUS is doing their best to try to at least get 10s before the next objective pops up. But it looks like we're going to get an invade coming here from Dread Pirates. They're going to try this yet again. And NUS is none the wiser for it. I don't think they can rotate here fast enough. But I am wrong. Shadow Step gets traits in and gets onto the point. But he's in big trouble. With that trait down, he could be in big trouble here. But Zenaris getting a ton of pressure onto Sir Stiggles. He does manage to get the kill, but is going to trade out his life with the last rights coming in on top of him in that instance. And that is going to be 1-for-1 trade with the advantage still heavily in favor of Dread Pirates with these 5 sappers coming in here, plus the trait reduction means that they're going to get the kill, and a bunch more sappers to push up here.
And there you go. It ends up being a long 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Dread Pirates. They get the bottom, and they get the bottom bell tower just in time for another altar to spawn here. They're going to be able to flip the script here upon casting that bottom altar and take a 1-point lead here. But more importantly, I think, Ziltoid, they are now up a full level over NUES.
And we don't have Nature's Calling from Lunara, so the ability to actually burn this tower back in favor of NUES is kind of rough. This could be very difficult for them to siege up on without their full 5-man rotation coming down here to help them do it. So a bit of damage coming onto Delurker, but a bunch of more return damage coming onto Shadow Step, and he takes more than half his health bar. And that's just the power of these two combined, Sylvanas and Li Ming together, just punishing in the amount of damage that they can output.
Meanwhile, we do see Dread Pirates guarding here in the bot lane, making sure that the members of NUES cannot get back. This bell tower and the explosion coming out onto Hanzo. That is the combo that Dread Pirates was looking for. The reset comes in as well, and NUES going to have to back off this point, and it is not looking promising at all for them trying to get back this bottom bell tower.
Yeah, Delurker, again, just kind of showing his prowess on this hero, is just very good at lasering in on those squishy heroes and finding the right opportunities to dive in and get that taunt off. And, of course, his team response is fantastic, making sure all the damage they need goes onto that target. And, like you said, if it's not Johanna, they're almost immediately killed. But we do see a pick-off coming up here, something that they needed to do probably a little bit sooner. And that might actually help them siege up here on the bottom. And I think that might be a conversion before this next objective. In fact, I'd like to see NUES even just give up this next objective just to make sure that they secure this bot port, as if they continue to allow Dread Pirates to have it, they're always going to be on the back foot.
Yeah, we do see big damage coming down on the Shadow Step. Iron Skin popped pretty early here, but we'll be able to get out before the before the effect is over. Meanwhile, yeah, just poke constantly coming in, and that is going to be enough to convert the bell tower back over. And now with level 13s, NUES going to go ahead and charge in after this one.
But the Lurker just realizing that there is no way that Johanna was going to live through a taunt there, just make sure that he waits for the trait to pop off, and then he just gets the secure. And there's a Malthael kill yet again on Lunara, getting more of those last right stacks up onto that target. And despite converting this bottom tower, the fact that they lost 2 heroes in that exchange is pretty much going to guarantee the fact that this is going to go down yet again, and all that work that they put in to get it back is just going to be for nothing.
Yeah, especially with Slithering One here, to be able to turn this off. They're actually going to try and convert it before the Pumpkin Sappers gets in. It looks like one did manage to make a contact with the tower, but they got 2 trying to march into the kill zone here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, there's plenty of ways for them to stop this with exploding arrows, but even stepping up slightly, Delurker just goes right in, and that is still the kill. But the counter kill comes out with a really good Blessed Shield popping onto Li Ming to make sure that she can't get out. And they do manage to defend both those sappers from pushing in. Pretty good trade there. Now, like, Delurker can walk into there because he's got protected. But, you know, Li Ming popping in there was very dangerous, and that was a very heads-up Blessed Shield coming out.
Yeah, that was a great punish moment there. But also, you know, worth noting that that's kind of a calculated risk for Li Ming. If she gets that reset, she can instantly teleport back out. But if the timing's right on that Blessed Shield, then she just gets kind of stuck in place there. So props to Shadow Step for being able to get just the right timing on that Blessed Shield, getting that pick, and now it's going to give a little bit of breathing room here for NUES here in this bot lane.
Yeah, they'll be able to reconvert, and Dread Pirates understanding this, just go for the boss in the top lane. There's no way a rotation will come out in time for them to stop this from happening, so that is going to be another 4 shots for the side of Dread Pirates. They will be forfeiting the bot, but because all of their team members are up here, they're going to make a pretty good siege onto the onto NUS's shrine here on their side of the map. And it looks like the rotation is coming up. I don't know if they can really delay anything. Lunara has to kind of push in there really quick, but we do have Eye of Horus, and that's going to be good enough to make sure that the delays come in. So here's the rotation coming from NUES, and we'll see if they're able to defend this without giving any kills away. Shadow Step does not have his trait at the moment, so he's going to be pretty scared stepping up here into that taunt combo that's been so punishing this whole game. Batmary taking a couple, but there's the last rites and the trait, the shield coming out just in time to make sure he doesn't die. That is actually a good trade. And actually, it was Wailing Arrow that was wasted, and it looks like the pressure is coming out. We do get the Protector coming in from Anduin, but it's interrupted by Shadow Step, but he does drop, and so does Malthael. So it's a 1-for-1 trade here on this exchange with Sir Stiggles being super, super low. I don't know if they can continue to put this pressure here, as it is on NUS's side of the map. They do have taps available.
Oh, they can poke this for days, Ziltoid. They've got a lot of tools to be able to slowly deny this. Meanwhile, they do have level 16. They've gotten themselves in position. Here comes Doom Elite coming in on the backside. Poke over the wall to Hanzo to deny. And finally, mercilessly, Dread Pirates is going to back away from this and look to just cap their own on the backside.
Yeah, it was just they weren't able to get it fast enough. They weren't able to convert easy, an advantage in kills on the initial fight. Although Xaneris did almost get picked off there in the bot lane. But of course, Irehorse delaying this out and just making this whole phase so much more frustrating for Dread Pirates. They do still maintain a lead in both experience and in shots, but given the fact that the conversion went to the side of NUES, this is really starting to become anyone's game at this moment. And it'll be interesting to see how this is wearing out. Both teams do grab their camps. The invasion coming in from NUES, but they're going to be too late before the conversion comes in, and it looks like the fight is going to delay itself into the middle of the lane instead.
Yeah, looks like both teams will converge on the bot lane, looking to try and see if they can get any advantage in pushing forward. And for now, it looks like it's going to be NUES that starts to step back a little bit. Nobody wants to get hit by that combo, but there it is. The taunt comes out, but the damage not quite there fast enough to get to Xaneris. He gets out. Meanwhile, the response here with that big arrow on the other side. Sylvanas able to walk away, though, but here comes the Eye of Horus trying to poke out on the backside. Heals coming in, but a lot of poison damage in response as well, but they're all able to get behind the wall there. Eye of Horus not going to have any luck getting through that.
Yeah, NUS did a fantastic job in baiting out the ultimates from the side of Dread Pirates, but here with Malthael coming in and the short cooldown timers, almost everything is back up already, so that combo is available yet again with Taunt being on such a short cooldown. But both altars are in the top lane yet again, so we're probably going to see a rotation coming out here. Root laning onto Xaneris, so doesn't get anything out. Trait coming out quickly from Shadow Step. He doesn't want to get Taunt comboed yet again, as that's been even devastating for him to deal with. And I think here we're going to see the rotations. Now, I don't know. We might just get a trade, as both teams have no significant advantage on either side of the map. So it looks like a pretty boring thing. But we see Shadow Step get caught in rotation, and I think he's going to go down here with the taunt being well baited. He waited on that to make sure that the trait came out before he dropped that taunt.
Very well done there on the rotation, but still, NUES is able to cap. However, now with 40 seconds down on Johanna, the rotation going to come in from Dread Pirates, and the prize that they're seeking is converting this bottom bell tower once again.
Yeah, that pickoff was devastating for the side of NUES. That's going to get the race to 20 solidly in the hands of Dread Pirates, especially with that fort conversion. And given the fact that they're at 10 and it's 5 shots per tower at this moment, they're in a pretty scary position. Though the one saving grace here for the side of NUES is that they don't have 2 altars going to be coming up in the next phase. It is only going to be 1 in the middle of the map. So they have plenty of times to see if they can get 20s and maybe even convert this bell tower back. Lots of damage came out with Sir Stiggles there, and he barely got out with his life.
Yeah, able to port around, get a little bit of healing from Anduin. But meanwhile, Dread Pirates looking to maybe try and steal this. Trying to bait NUES into a fight, but Dahaka is coming in on the backside. Malthael still up in the top lane, so this is a 4v5. Blessed Shield comes out, protected though. Trying to keep them alive. A second protected there with the ult from Anduin. Meanwhile, Batmary has made it down here, but Sylvanas already gone. 2 down now, and they're going to get a third here on Li Ming, and NUES somehow taking the fight down 20, being able to take that numbers fight, and they end up winning here right as the altar spawns.
And of course, due to my poor camera work, I was unable to see Zenaris just completely take out that backline with those leaping strikes and getting in that pressure onto the Sylvanas. But very well played from them. This is the play that they needed to make. They should convert the spell tower back, given the death timer advantage that they do have, before they go for the channel. And it looks like that is going to be the play they're going to make here. They might even go for the other bell tower, but again, given the fact that they don't have fast siege on their team at this point, I would just go for the conversion and wait for the next altar phase.
Holy cow! I cannot go without shouting out Arrow for that 10,000 bits donation there. He wants to see CTV playing an all-support game in the finals, and he's going to get it. Meanwhile, we do see Malthael dying there in the mid, so that's going to be another big moment here for NUES as they look to get boss and the cap here and get right back into this matchup.
Yeah, with that, they're actually going to take a slight lead, an 8 to 10 shot lead. It is going to be 20 to 20, but with that staggered death on Malthael and the fact that he did not take the buyback at level 20, could make this very scary. But Dread Pirates responding very quickly, using that Sylvanas advantage that they do have to just come down here and reconvert that bot tower again in their favor. And the next altar phase is going to be double shrine. So if they can manage to get 2 shrines in the next phase, that is going to be game. But that's the same thing on both sides if they get this conversion here in the top lane, which it looks like we're going to get. So never mind. The fact that they're going to trade up the top and push in these sappers is going to mean we're sitting at pretty even. And no one's going to rotate to stop these sappers. That's going to be 3 shots going in for the side of NUES.
And they do get there before... Well, no, Batmary gets there in time to kill one of them. So going to be able to save 1 point there. But meanwhile, Blessed Shield in the mid. Meanwhile, Zanara dealing a ton of damage. The Dragon Arrow to follow. Anduin is going to fall here.
And that is a devastating kill for the side of Dread Pirates. They are now in a very scary position. The fact that they have another staggered death for another altar coming up. And they're going to be able to convert this bot tower back in time. Anduin should be showing up about 20 minutes in, and it's still or 20 seconds into the next phase. It's still going to be pretty scary for them to aggress onto the other side of the map without that top fort being converted in NUS's favor. So I think we're going to just see a gentleman's agreement to trade here. I don't think anyone's going to go for the end of the game, but we'll see if I'm proven wrong.
So both are going to be available here. Meanwhile, the interrupt coming in again from Eye of Horus. So it's not going to be an easy cap here for the Dread Pirates. Meanwhile, on the other side, NUES is able to cap and bring it down to 2. Variant is going to fall. And wait a minute, Ziltoid. This is suddenly starting to look like the beginning of the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Anduin wasn't back up in time, and there wasn't any delays put into the side. And I keep forgetting about Aya Horus and the effect that it can have on the team. And that is going to be NUES actually picking up the match win. And they will be going on to take on CTV in the next round. I mean, I didn't see that coming.
Wait a minute! Upsets all day. First it's Frankfurters winning themselves 3 matches and getting to play their way all the way up to round 4. Only running into NUES, the only team that was able to defeat them here in this ladder style tournament. And now NUES climbing their way up the rung all the way to the top here as they're going to get to advance on to play Celeb Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, I think the keys to victory on the side of NUES there in that matchup had a lot to do with Zenaris just being able to get a ton of pressure onto the backline without being locked down very well. Into the mid of the late game, they did a very good job of avoiding that variant combo and then making sure they turned around the damage. So as long as they survived the first initial combo, they were able to turn around a lot of those fights and get the kills back in the other direction. And that's kind of what sorted it out. But I'll also shout out the Eye of Horus on Ana in 2 very intense areas in that map came out and caused an absolute devastating amount of trouble for the side of Dread Pirates, especially in that last part. I mean, it was almost entirely what won them that last objective outside of the pick on Anduin in the mid lane.
What an incredible game 3, and we mentioned it before, Ziltoid. The map you want to be on in a game 3 in the best of 3 series is Towers of Doom. Very exciting to see these 2 teams go back and forth. And what a fun day it's been overall. But NUES ends up coming out on top And I'm going to fix the overlay, give them their point, give them their credit, and we'll be reaching out. We're actually going to have Celeb Gaming in here real soon. These guys said they were ready to start early, so this should just be a normal 10-minute changeover. But before we head on over and get that started up, Ziltoid, thank you very much for coming in and casting. Do you have any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Sure, absolutely. Coming up, starting next week, is going to be the WAMP series, which is Mongoose and Wono organized this tournament up, and it's going to be basically like Caldor's Meta Madness, where we all have a set amount of banned heroes, and then every match you play, any of the bans that happen in the first game also carry over to the second game. So you should come over and see some really spicy matchups between a lot of the NGS teams that signed up for this. It's going to be casted and played over the week. Any casters interested in getting onto it, please sign up. Yeah, it'll be a whole lot of fun. So hopefully we'll get a lot of viewers coming in and watching these games. Yeah, that's basically my big plug for the night.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. Great job casting as always. It's fun to get to hang out with you again. We're gonna have to play some more Warhammer one of these days. But
I've been waiting for you to let me know. We still have a campaign to finish, so
there we go.
Just let me know when you got some time.
Oh, we'll do. And until then, guys, we're gonna go ahead and set up the next match. I'm gonna put 10 minutes up on the clock. Remember, you guys, of course, can always donate during these breaks as well. We will shout you out when we get back from break for sure. But until then, we're gonna go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock. Bring in Selexia, get Celeb Gaming in here. And we'll see our final round number 7, NUES versus Celeb Gaming. Don't go anywhere.